Okay, so what's our next cue going to be?
So we're going to do the flower effect from the Robe Spiider.
Cool. So flower effect from Robe Spiider. I think also another good way to put this would be like a Starfield breakup gobo or something like that. There's a lot of instances where you want a bunch of beams coming from one source, and lasers are great at that. So let's do this just with one builder to start. We'll add a couple more and do kind of like that multicolor instancing you get out of the red next to green, next to blue, next to white on the spider flower. But honestly, let's just start out with something that I have in my Gobo preset saved as Starfield. So this is Point Cascade in the points folder. And so let's just give it a nice little slow rotation. Like that. And I can rotate it whatever direction I want. I can grab, different ones, rotate them different directions. So really, basically, that's kind of what the flower looks like. But with the flower, this would just be if the white cell was on. Let's actually do several builders now. Turn all those on, throw them all to the star field. And it is going to glitch a little bit while I get this going. You going to be red, you going to be green, and blue, and white. So this does look pretty cool strobing, but let's make it strobe a little less. So for something like this, I might go for like a multi-dot situation. Get everybody rotating. So right now, let's just go to the single dot. And let's go to prisms. So with the prism, I can just go to like a multi-facet prism and then index everybody differently. So I'm going to stop my rotation and I'm going to index each differently. So you're going to be at 0. You're going to be at 90. 180. So one of the things that can look really cool if you're going for the look is how the Robe flower effect splits apart the colors differently. And so you get something that kind of looks like this. Not exactly, pretty darn close with red and green and blue and white all separate. And we can rotate all of that as well. And I will go ahead and change that prism so we can actually get some pretty good density out of it without a lot of stuttering of the beams. And so here's the thing, though, with Robe flower effect, you're limited to the red, the green, the blue, and the white of the LED because they're coming off that square LED chip with red next to green, next to blue, next to white.
Right.
What if we want to take that effect up a notch? We can use any 4 colors that we want to make up this effect and get some genuinely crazy stuff. Now, let's say you're at a venue that doesn't have a lot of vertical clearance. I can still get something that kind of goes after that effect. So another thing you can do is adjust your zoom to flatten it out. So let's say you really want it to just take up a narrow space. I mean, your zone will already be set as you need, but this can look really cool and kind of like the Robe flower effect, even at a low Y height, where you're going to have a narrow termination zone in a venue vertically. You can get really cool multicolor beams. Again, you can do, this is full on party mode. We got hot pink, orange, teal, and dark lavender. Doesn't necessarily have to be red, green, blue, white. But the other thing is, with this as well, you can just make all those beams be the same color. So you can get some really cool, crazy beam nets going on with, this is with a multi-point, let me get exactly which gobo I'm using. I'm using the, right. So this is literally the single point gobo along with the 2x3 prism and then rotation. So that's all I'm using to get this. This is just gobo, prism, rotation, and then an effect on all of our instances to move them around. So that's it. Yeah. If I turn off, so this is with just one instance on, right? So this is a single builder per laser. Yeah. Here's with 2. Here's with 3. Here's with 4. So you're just increasing the beam density. Actually looks really cool sometimes, just doing a couple beams, but you're getting some really cool modular beam stuff happening. Like based on the idea of that Robe flower effect, which is a really cool effect. So there we go. That's the Robe flower effect and a bunch of variations thereof.
I'm going to see if I can...
Cool. Let's change that priority. There we go.
Let's do 2 by 3 prism. Okay. Oops. I haven't turned off prism. All right. So prism. Hold on. You guys remind me what I'm doing again.
So the effect really is just a bunch of beams being able to rotate all at once coming out of a single point. So if you just use your standard rotate parameter, running, at a slow to medium speed, you should be able to get there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is much easier than I thought.
Right?
So this is one builder. Yes,
this is one builder. So how I got mine to have the colors separated is I stopped rotation and I indexed all of each of my I just used 4 builders. I didn't use all 8. I just used 4. So I just indexed each sequential builder slightly differently from the rest. And I just loaded them all to the same gobo and prism and all that jazz.
Where are you spinning? Okay. So prism points.
Prism
Points.
And then take builder 2 and index it a little over, and then take builder 3 and index it further, and take builder 4 and index it further, and you'll have that color spread that you get. And here's the thing: they're all right next to each other in a spiky or a spider flower effect. But the cool thing here is that you can decide exactly how far away they are from each other.
Right.
So exactly. I mean, you see a lot of laser shows where you see it look like this, these multicolored beams, and it's super easy to get out of these lasers with just some basic standard moving light controls. You're able to make it look like this very quickly, just based off some presets. I want to try those color effects on that real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that priority back.
Now that I realize how easy this effect is, I'm gonna do it all the time.
Oh yeah. So let's go to a danger net. Cool. So I'm going to now do my color 1 as yellow and my color 2 as hot pink, and then define my color effect as on a soft linear post or something like that. There we go. That should be cool. Mm-hmm. And then there we go. So it's moving through the range. The center 10 is inverted tilt-wise on the color map, but we can see it. I can actually just change that right here. That's going to be... There we go. Get the idea. And so let me just try some other color effects real quick.
Go for it.
So here is, let's get a color 1, yellow, color 2, hot pink. So there's a left to right effect. Let's do a radial post. So there we go. You can kind of see the middle gets peachier. Mm-hmm. And so we don't have any beams in the dead center. So we just kind of get that peachy on the interior, and then it goes towards hot pink on the outside. If I use two different colors, we might be able to see it better. So in the middle, I'm going to go to, yeah. So now I'm cyan in the middle and hot pink on the outside. And so we get those tasty ice blue beams there in the middle, halfway out where on that prism. So for this one, to make this one back, I have, again, 4 builders. 2 of them I did the 2x3, 2 of them I did the 3x2, and then I grabbed one of each, a 2x3 and a 3x2, and I offset them by 45 degrees on the index. So I've just got all these points going out, and it's pretty sweet.
Nice.